Hello, this is Smash Brothers Ridley Amiibo, and he's not in here, and I'll show you why. I altered him by using Halo figurines, and this is the pieces, this is the waist piece, legs, this is the leg that's connected to this. This is the piece that I used on his shoulders and his hips where I cut it. Where it looks like that little, you hope you can see it, there we go, a little circle, and I cut that, and I took this piece right here, and then I used that for the waist, and I used the hacksaw, cut it off, and then squared it off with the exo blades, and of course crazy glue. These are the exo blades I used, extremely sharp, this, just doing a verbal. These are not meant for kids to use at all, or anyone who doesn't know how to use these properly. Don't use them. I use, as well as the drill. This is the type I used. The 20 VMAX, just the regular, and I use mostly these sizes, a few of these. But here's Ridley. And then this is his original stand, the purple right here. That's where he originally stood off. I just pulled him off by hand. And then I made him mobile. Right now I'm using a camera, so handheld digital. So his waist does, I'll show you, it bends down and up as well. And his body, which you can play with him, move him left and right, and of course his arms can go up and down. They can even go all the way back. It has very flexible movement. This is the first time I've used ball joints rather than magnets, as my previous video. As you can see, I just used that, so that's why his hands can move, and they can also move sideways. So I'm just showing you the movement of his arms. His legs can do the same, up and down, and as well as his feet. And then, the same thing for here. His legs can move all the way back, and I cut the tail off the side, which, if you have the original Amiibo's tails right there, I just nicked it right off, and I can flex the tail any way I want, but I can also change Ridley's poses, have just play around with him, just like so, have his legs up in the air, as you can see, make it look like he's, flying, kind of, and then, as well as, I could just use his tail and just, pretend he's, attacking downward. This is what you would normally see in the Sam's video games, and then I'll show you, and then I'll show you see how his legs come out, but they snap, hear that? They all snap on like that, all the legs and the arms, they do the same thing. See up here? Same thing. You hear that click sound, so that's how I was able to, I didn't want to use magnets like I did with my previous video with the 2.5 Samus. So when I first saw Ridley on the internet, I was like, I gotta have him. I like Ridley. He's obviously the meanest character in almost every video game. if you've played the Samus video game series, you know he is one of the hardest bosses. And he roughly stands almost 4 inches tall. Like, close to 4 inches. You know, 4.5 because of his wings. I didn't do anything to the wings or the head. Now you think, you know, some of you think, why would you change an Amiibo character, you know, as a collectible? You know, by doing this, changing him, he's no longer collectible, but I'm actually making a shout out because I know a shout out to the companies, you know, Jakks Pacific, you know, good smiley Figma company for figurines. I haven't seen any Ridley character that moves like this. Or if there is an existing one that I don't know of, but I'm the first one that's tried and made him look. He looks not too bad, considering. He can move left and right, up and down. You know, I can change even, you know, different poses and play around with him. You know, change his hands, as I showed you before. But this is pretty much, you know, what I can do with him. You know, I'm just playing around with him, but you get the idea. And here's another one that you might like. One coming straight at you. So, I mean, considering what I've done and how I've gotten for him to stand where he, you know, the pivot, which I'll show you. I'll just put his arms back down for the time being. But he does stand on his own. I can leave him just like that and he just stands. Like, I had to flex the feet a bit, but he stands. But this is, you know, this is how you know, he comes off like that, so this is what keeps him inside. But that's the part that I told you about where I cut off, but that's how I got him. So I just wanted to show you that part too, because that's how I got him to, you know, the pivot, and that's what keeps his body, you know, stable. So I know there's probably a better way to get him to move, but this is the resources that I had and what I was able to do. So I like him as a collectible, but I'd rather have him as something to manipulate and play with. I mean, who wouldn't? If you're a Samus or a Metroid fan, I know this would be pretty awesome to have. But I showed you how you could possibly do it, but it's extremely tedious. It took me over 8 hours. So, tell me what you think. And, you know, what you think of Ridley Amiibo. The Ridley Amiibo has now a movable character that I designed myself.